The culture wars are over, but are they? Well, Lisa Nandy, Secretary of State for Culture, Media and Sport, has said, "In recent years, we've found multiple ways to divide ourselves from one another. Changing this is the mission of this department. The era of the culture war is over." I think this is an admirable goal, but are Labour practising what they preach? Well, unfortunately, already they're not, because simultaneously, Wes Streeting has said they're going to impose a ban on puberty blockers, a right-wing, transphobic talking point. So, is the culture war over? No, because puberty blockers have been used since the 80s for precocious puberty. They're safe, they've been studied, they're reversible, the science is clear. This is clearly a culture war, right-wing talking point, and it seems the culture war is not over. But there is good news, because there's data to suggest that actually, according to a 2023 research from the King's College and Ipsos Mori, 6 in 10 people now agree that politicians invent or exaggerate culture wars as a political tactic. And it's interesting because last year the Tories were talking about how they'd fight the election on the culture wars. Lee Anderson spoke about this, the culture wars and trans people and immigration. And then if you've been following the election, wasn't that much talk about the culture wars and trans people. A little bit, but not as much. The focus was on stop the boats and immigration. So people are getting bored by it. People are in favour of trans rights. And there's a different focus. After 14 years of the Tories, people are more likely to be concerned about local issues, political issues, their potholes, schools, infrastructure, and also wider political things of the NHS, housing, getting a GP, real problems that they face. People aren't concerned about trans people. More people are actually in favour of trans people. So in that way, the left is winning the culture war, because people are tired of the divisive politics, the constant demonisation of immigrants and blacks and gays and trans people and whoever the target is this week. So the culture wars have lost their potency. But the problem is, because the Conservatives have got nothing else, capitalism is doing fine for them, it's making the rich richer, the poor poorer, they're not going to challenge capitalism and the economy, that's fine. So what else do they have? Well, they don't really have a positive vision for the future or the country, so they just have to be divisive and use immigration, which is an age-old tactic. It's been used for hundreds, if not probably thousands of years, to divide and evoke fear. Because when you've got no positive vision, you have to go, oh, well, how else can we stay in power and keep capitalism going, and will accumulate more wealth and create, perpetuate this race to the bottom, essentially, of capitalism. Make people poorer and make us richer. Well, immigration is a potent tool, and my hope for the next few years is that people are just going to get bored of it. Like with the culture wars, they're going to realise, actually, no, there are real problems, but immigration is not one of them. They'll see that actually immigrants contribute more than their fellow native citizens, and actually they do provide a lot of positives. So we need to make sure that we're fighting back against the immigration, because the only real reason, it's a sociological thing, it's a broader political thing, is that people who are more likely to demonise immigrants and see them as the problems are more likely to be people who live in poorer areas, less educated, and people who aren't doing well in life. And we need to fund those areas and make sure they are doing better, and that they don't fall into that trap of just blaming their problems on other people and people who actually are providing for our culture, for our economy, and adding to our lives. Because, again, it's these people who live in whiter areas who don't have exposure to people of different cultures and different race and creeds. So we need to just push back against this immigration debate. And like we have with the trans debate, people in the next few years will just get bored and realise actually there's bigger problems. Like, we can't just boil it down to a simplistic panacea of like, if we just reduce immigration, everything will be fine. Because there's so many problems we face in the 21st century, especially Britain. Wage stagnation, economic stagnation, climate change. We need a positive future. And I just hope that Labour can really try and undermine the culture war and talk about immigration in a positive way, because it is. And to just simplify the debate to say that immigration numbers, yeah, I think maybe they do need to be reduced, but the idea that this is going to solve the problem, which is a problem caused by the Tories, the small boats were caused by the Tories, immigration levels as high as they are were caused by the Tories. This is no accident. So comment below, is the culture war over? How can we fight the debate on immigration and bring some facts and truth to the debate? Obviously they're not interested in that, but we have to use that because that's the only way to have an honest debate. And in the coming years, will immigration lose its potency? I think it will, but I'd be interested to know your opinions in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.